sipping pay-to-win coffee. Tastes like dollars. You know, I play a lot of free-to-play games, so it probably helps that I have a lot of experience playing them relative to maybe other people who play mostly fighting games and are used to the fighting game model because, you know, if that's what you play, then that's probably what you're used to. There was a tweet from Max. He made a video that says, please make fighting games free to play. I think this is probably, you know, after or during the DNF duel stuff, right? And then he says, this might not seem high, but it's way above the average for dislikes on my channel. Also a huge indicator of how poisonous the FTP combo can be. They try to ratio them. They hit them with the L plus I like paying $60 and $30 for DLC and $20 for this and $5 for frame data and $20 for a stage. They're not a fan. They're like, what the you trying to make me play a free-to-play game? I hate it here. And there was the Juna tweet. If this game paid you to play it, I still wouldn't touch it, he says. Well, first of all, that's a lie. He's done like 17 Raid Shadow Legends streams, so if this game paid him to play it, you would play it. We all know that that is a lie, okay? You are a sellout. But the second thing is, you may not like Brawlhalla, and I don't play Brawlhalla, or I don't know anything about the game even. I don't play it, right? But the fact that it's so successful should tell you that the model they have is very effective. None of us think Fortnite is the sickest shit on the planet either, right? But when you look at Fortnite, it's an incredibly successful game, and you have to be like, well, it may not be for me, but that shit is really hitting. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a model like this, and obviously it can be very successful for fighting games. There are some hurdles in the way, though. There are some things about free-to-play games. To start with, you know, fighting games can be quite an expensive investment. They cost too much money to get in, but then like everything else still continues to come out and it costs more and more and more and more to get the stuff that you want. That is the problem that free-to-play games can certainly have, which we already have with fighting games in general. Is I think like they oftentimes to most people don't feel like they're worth $60 in terms of content, which I know is, you know, that is like a subjective thing, but you pay $60 to start with and you're like, okay, I have the base roster and all the characters, and then it's like, and DLC is coming, and you're like, oh shit. So you're in for like 85, and then it's season pass 2. They announce a second season pass. Then that's another 25 to 30 or whatever it is. Then they announce the CPT DLC pack. That's like another 15 to 20. Then they announce frame data for $5. Maybe even they announce like, oh, we're doing one more little thing, and it's 2 characters and 1 new stage. That'll be $25. You're like, what the hell? I'm in for $180. And in the same token, to make a free-to-play model and have the amount of content to generate, you know, people buying stuff on a free-to-play game to be equal the amount of money you would make if your game cost $60 is also very expensive for devs to create. And most of the free-to-play games that I play, the content, the characters, the stages, and stuff, and like things like that are very easy to unlock, or like you just get them. So like if you play Dota, you have all the heroes. If you play Apex Legends or something, right, you have like half of them unlocked, and then you get a free one, and then every X amount of levels you unlock a free one. Dude, Valorant, it's so easy to unlock stuff, and same thing with Runeterra. Unlocking new content in both those games is like so easy, and you don't have to buy the new maps when they come out or anything either, right? Where they get you, these games, and this is how they have to make money on the model most of the time, right, is skins and sprays and emotes, fancy card backs for your things, and like you can dress your waifu up in another outfit, and battle passes every 2 months. And for fighting games, if you want to do a free-to-play model, you know, you need to do a lot of creating things like that up front, right? It takes a lot to do that. It's not like you just make it and you're like, all right, cool, we're gonna sell our game for nothing and like let's just keep making some stuff. Like, you need to make some money, you know. It needs to continuously be releasing new skins and new skins for new characters and new KO effects and new announcer voices and new taunts and new sprays and new emotes and little lobby avatar guys and like whatever it is. Unless the game is continuously releasing things, it's probably going to struggle to like hold your value with the free-to-play market. Yeah, a game like Street Fighter, I mean, there's a reason people talk about how like Street Fighter skins probably funded the production of the game. I mean, a game like Street Fighter 5, it was kind of set up to be free-to-play, right? They had fight money in the game, they have the way the skins and production is and everything, and like the stages and like all the stuff in the game and how they expected you to buy things with like the in-game currency. There's dailies. They have all the stuff you would think that it would be free to play, and then instead they're just like, and it'll be $60, and you're just like, wait, what? Free to play games definitely have a lot of that. The shop rotates every day, and if the skin you want is in the shop, you're like, I gotta buy this skin today. FOMO is definitely real, but I feel like it's so funny because for me, I I don't really get FOMO like that super. I like look at skins and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. This is how messed up it is, right? Every game in Fortnite, when you die, they make you a new person. You don't get to create a character and be your character in Fortnite. And meanwhile, everybody else is Batman and Spider-Man, like Tom Holland's in the game, and Green Goblin, and they're flying in on gliders. We fought a squad that was Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi, right? And like, I'm default character number 3. It's very easy to feel like I gotta buy something. I can't play this bullshit, random generated character every time. But for me, I just don't care. I'm just like, whatever, man. I got a shotgun. I'm going to go kill them. I'm going to go kill Naruto. It's a reason why they have the shops like that. It's because they're like, all right, you're going to buy a skin. You're going to become Ryu from Streets. I can't lie. If Ryu or Chun-Li was in my shop, I would probably buy them. Just because I would get a beast tweet out of it. I haven't seen a single Street Fighter skin in all the time I'm playing. I'll tell you what. I've seen a million Batmans. I've killed a lot of Spider-Men. I fought the Green Goblin and Naruto and Sasuke and Jinx so many times, but I've never seen a Ryu or Chun-Li. And I think the biggest boon to free-to-play games is that lots of people get to try them. It's not like you double or triple, or like the amount of people you gain is absurd by having no cost of entry. 10, 100, 1,000 fold, right? Because the the investment to give the game a spin is incredibly low. When I want to play Apex Legends back when it came out, I was like, sure, and I still do play it. When I wanted to play Fortnite, I was like, this game is free. If I want to play Destiny, I tried Destiny 2. That game has a free mode. Valorant, Legends of Runeterra, League of Legends. How many of you have or are former League of Legends addicts? A free-to-play video game. COD, Battle Royale is free-to-play. Dota 2, Warframe. There's so much free-to-play stuff out there that I'm sure many of you have tried. So many of them I've played and I've not spent any money. But on the ones that I do spend money on, it's always the games that I like a lot and I want cosmetics for them. I don't have a problem with it. If you want to do it, the model is it's a lot of work to do it correctly for the developers, right? And there are their own issues with a free-to-play game that come up with in terms of FOMO and shops and constantly needing to generate stuff to create revenue, right? In the same way that, like, when you buy a $60 game these days, that's a steep investment and you're just like, okay, but did I get my $60 worth, right? It's like such a funny feeling between the two. Fighting games, in terms of other competitive games currently, don't really have a lot of free-to-play options by comparison. Like, if you look at shooting games, if you want to play a free-to-play shooting game, you can play Call of Duty or Halo. You might have heard of them. Those are like pretty big franchises. I don't know why people seem to think that if a game is free to play or if a game costs $60, the free to play game will be shitty and have bad mechanics and the $60 game will be good and shiny. I'll tell you what, I paid $60 for a lot of real fucking shitty games. I'm like, boy, this game fucking sucks. I hate this game. And there's also been plenty of games that are free to play that I'm like, these games are tight. They're actually good video games and I don't care. I didn't like Fantasy Strike. I also didn't like Samurai Showdown. One was free and one was $60, and it has nothing to do with the cost of the video game. It has to do with the video game itself. Just because a game is free to play doesn't mean it's going to be sick, or it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It just means that it's free to play. I'm sure many of you have had this experience. I bought KOF and I think KOF is a blast. I don't play it because the online is whack and the matchmaking is whack. Trying to play the game online was a nightmare. I couldn't play anybody, so I don't play it. I spent $60 to do that. It could have been free to play and that could have happened to me, and I would have still not played it for the same reason. I mean, this isn't even a new thing to talk about. This came up during the Japanese roundtable. During the Japanese roundtable, all the Japanese companies were like, psh, could you imagine doing a fighting game that's free to play? Psh. They said it's like a marketing stunt to do a free to play game. I've never heard something so out of touch in my life. Like, come on, man. You have to know how successful free-to-play games are. That is so weird. If you get a game for Christmas, it's bad because it was free to you. Oh, that's pretty funny. One time, Lee Chung was like, my Tims are all messed up. I got to get a new pair. And I looked at them, and I promise, I couldn't see a crease. They looked like they were in pristine condition. And I was like, I got to be honest, they look fine to me. And he's like, and that's how I know you don't know. I could never buy Tims unless I was supervised. You know what I mean? Like, I need Chung there with like a big stamp right on the side of the Tims to make sure that they're okay.